Martin Lukeman and Jermaine Wattimena, two bona fide tour card holders and two bona fide ranking event finalists in PDC darts. Jermaine Wattimena, a multiple finalist in ranking events, but two guys who've never won PDC titles, or not yet. Martin Lukeman is a former last 16 contender in this tournament. On his debut in 2017, managed to beat 3 players, including Chris Dobie, before losing out to Ian White. That is his best run at the UK Open. Last year, it was a disappointment for him, having won 1 game and then lost a last leg decider to Kevin Doots in the last 64. Chance here to move through to the 3rd round for Smash, but while I'm a bit impressed with some of the stuff that Martin Lukeman's been throwing at the start of this year, Wattimena is still in this sort of prolonged rebuilding phase of his career. Certainly better than things were a couple of years ago for Jermaine, but still some work to do to get back to where he was at his peak.
That's the goal. When you've had that likelihood of making latter stages of tournaments, whether it be winning games at places like the World Grand Prix and being involved in World Championship Classics and making Pro Tour finals, you think that the goal when you have your slump is just to get back to where you were and then get better. But you're right about Wattimena. This ability that he's got at the minute to try different things, to try and get back to where he was, he's still trying to find that magic formula. At the end of last year, things were encouraging. But when we have the best part of January and the early part of February off after World Championship darts, things start again, and people can get found out really quickly. If they're lazy in January and they haven't put in the work, it'll take them 2 or 3 months to get into proper match nick.
Yeah, well, those who turn up in form, like, say, a Ryan Searle, for example, can suddenly find themselves making hay and boatloads of money that sets them up for the rest of the year.
Apparently, all you need to do to get into top nick in this part of the world is have 2 practice sessions with Gary Anderson.
Double 16 for Martin Lukeman is taken out with no bother at all. Smash taking the opening leg despite a decent setup there from Jermaine Wattimena. 14 darter to hold throw. And as I say, Martin Lukeman has started this year, some of the stuff he's been throwing on the Pro Tour, a limited number of events granted, but it's been impressive.
140.
One of those players who the changes to the Euro Tour qualifying have really hurt him, because he's not quite high enough in the Pro Tour rankings to be making full use of basically just being given a spot in those events. So he's having to win through the qualifiers, and there are a lot fewer spaces, but he's done all right, Martin Lukeman. Playing some good stuff. He might be a threat this weekend to go and at least match his best run at this tournament on debut in that last 16 run.
I think what you said about Martin's very, very accurate. I don't think his work ethic has ever been challenged. His ability, even as a PDC tour card holder, to find events that he can play in, to stay sharp, it's mythical around the M25 motorway. He just goes anywhere there's a tournament. He still plays local darts as well. He just wants to be sharp all the time.
Treble 17 would leave the ball. He doesn't get it, but he sets it up very nicely, and Wattimena's looking at a ton plus finish just to hold his throw. Not going to take it out. So Martin Lukeman,
Martin, you require 24.
chance for 2-0.
2 6s. Change of body position.
18.
Every dart player in this tournament hates that position. You've had 3 clean darts at a double, and the leg is pinched out of your pocket just like that.
The leg is Martin to throw first. Game on.
You're making a semi-final in the first 4 Players' Championships is encouraging for Martin. But again, he comes up against Ryan Searle. Now, what is it about when Ryan Searle plays Martin Lukeman that Searle just finds the ability to go into his own beast mode? Do you remember that game that he played in the semi-final against Lukeman a couple of years ago? and he went and averaged 116.
It was 7-0, wasn't it? Yeah, Lukeman just didn't know what hit him, but there was no playing Ryan Searle in those displays, and that was around the period he was putting in quite a few of those displays. But Lukeman himself, you know, ton plus averages, he's already hit 7, in fact, this year. Now, it's not half of his games, but we're getting towards that. It's more than a third of his games. He's averaging a ton. That is impressive stuff. That's across Euro Tour qualifiers and things like that as well.
55.
But a game's a game. Best of 11. This is really encouraging from Smash. If he can stay in this kind of form for a little while, he is going to pick up a lot of wins and a lot of money. And, you know, he could find himself going and qualifying again for big tournaments like the World Grand Prix.
And just to put that into a little bit more perspective as well, if you look at someone like Michael van Gerwen,
140.
who has won 3 Premier League nights in the last 4 weeks, he's averaging more in Players' Championships than MVG.
54.
And it's a fair assessment. It's the same venues, and Martin's played 11 games to Michael's 9, but he's ahead of him average-wise this season, which tells you everything you need to know.
Jermaine, you require 52.
Now, is Wattimena about to take the lead against said player ball? That's a terrible dart. That's not.
Third leg, Jermaine Wattimena. Full legs, Jermaine to throw first.
A mix of relief, satisfaction and genuine fury from Jermaine Wattimena there. After an awful first dart, but a perfect last one.
Well, everything got better as that visit went on.
97.
Awful dart, good dart, brilliant dart. But he plays, in my opinion, his best darts when he's got this amount of spirit. Now, they do have something in common, these two. The best they've both done is the last 16 in the UK Open. Jermaine's done it twice, pre-pandemic. 2018, 2019. But he was a very, very different player then. It was almost towards the end of the Winter Series in 2020, where that's when he made his last massive impression in PDC tournaments. But it's since then, it just hasn't cooperated.
Yeah, I think that's the last time he made a final as well at the Winter Series. And there were times there where he was going to the last 16 in quarters and he'd be averaging over a ton for the day. So 34 left, and that leaves 32.
52.
Well, this is a really good response from Jermaine Wattimena.
He's going to get a look at 32 as well. 88 confirmed
84.
by our referee in this contest, Kirk Bevins.
Yeah, so the
3-1 lead is confirmed as well. And I'm really interested to see Jermaine throw his next 3 darts, because over the last 10 that he's thrown, I've seen a little bit of a change in his technique, and it's a change that is a good one. Does it continue here? That drawback is slower. It's not as quick.
It's almost like there's 2 sections to the drawback, isn't there? He brings it back a certain distance and then sort of cocks the hand again, and it does slow things down a bit. It reminds me a little bit of Adrian Lewis, who used to have almost these checkpoints as he brought the dart back. He'd bring it to position 1, position 2, position 3, and then go forward with the arm. And you could see the machine sort of clicking into place and then releasing. And having those checkpoints, you know that you have that arm in the right place for each time. Can even help with your rhythm and doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. That Adrian Lewis comparison is so accurate. And we're talking about peak Adrian Lewis as well, when it was a bit loopy towards the 2011 World Championship, when he was just hammering people.
Another 71 checkout for Martin Lukeman. This one looking to be completed on tops, and is so a brace of 71 checkouts completed in different ways for Lukeman to win his 2 legs. I'm trying to think, Adrian was probably throwing like that when he won this title, averaging 110 in the final in an obliteration of Terry the Ball Jenkins.
If we may just sidestep a little bit. There was a game that we talked about in the previous match between Owen Bates and Graham Usher. Bates was 5-1 up and lost. The last 5 legs taken by Usher to get through to the next round. And we are keeping a very close eye on some of the games that are currently taking place. Don Taylor 4, Henderson 5. And the reason we're so transfixed on that is because whoever wins that will play Kian van Veen on this board in a couple of games' time.
Yeah, interesting little section of the draw there. Lukeman leaves 130, looking to break Wattimena. He's got little spells this. Lukeman started brighter, Wattimena took control, and Lukeman's now hitting back. But he's not going to take the 130.
94. 108.
Big moments, this. Ooh, could happen. On the ball. Oh, very nearly.
That would have been so filthy that it needed a pressure washer.
Well, Lukeman does come back to the board and pins double 18, and there's the shake of the fist as Lukeman levels things up. He has the darts.
He's taking on the mantle of the best player in Hertfordshire now, Lukeman. He's taken over from people like Steve West and Mark Walsh. A county that has gifted us brilliant dart players over the years, and a multiple-time semi-finalist in Dennis Ovens.
Dennis Ovens, of course, yeah, 3-time semi-finalist.
Saw Den at the Worlds, didn't we? Popped in to say hi.
123.
Right, that visit of 123, we are blessed by actually having some stats for this game. Lukeman's average is around a ton now. And it's not a surprise to see him up in that sort of area with how regularly he's been doing that this year. And it may be going higher. He was under it in this game. Wattimena was bossing things from sort of leg 2 to leg 4. This is superb from Lukeman.
This really is a good game now. Double top. Oh my word. Smash is going crazy. Such a good player to watch when he's in this fettle. Left eye dominant, right-handed player. Very much Bobby George style. But when he finds that first start, all he does is smash.
Well, 11 darter in that last leg. Kicks off 180 against the Wattimena throw. Wattimena's averaging 97. This is a good standard.
96.
Is he going to move from there?
122.
Yeah, he's not moved to where he wanted to move, but he did try and bring the bullseye into play to leave a finish. Lukeman's going to have to move as well.
He's got options. He doesn't have to go 18s. Could have gone 15s there. You'd rather have 170 than 167.
And even if you get the treble 18, it leaves a really awkward finish, doesn't it?
Exactly. Even if you get the 45 on that shot, it leaves 140, which is easier than 131.
It is now. Double 12 is found. Jermaine Wattimena hits back. This game is going back and forth. Real quality. Lukeman is still averaging, it's around about 102 right now. He has the darts in what is now a best of 3 encounter, and the guy averaging 102, you would think would get it done. But Wattimena is playing well enough to throw that into some doubt, and that visit there could cost Lukeman.
This game is starting to remind me of a match that Wattimena had with Luke Humphreys in the Players' Championship finals. I believe it was 3.5 years ago, and it was unbelievable. They both averaged over 107.
Oh no, no. Well, it does knock the 5 off, Jermaine.
That's the ultimate bright side statement.
Well, you're 8 points behind. They're throwing first, and you're still not in front at the end of your visit, and then they chuck in a 180 for the third leg running. What a brutal 30 seconds that is for Jermaine Wattimena.
That's just what you've got to be as a dart player, unsympathetic. Just crack on with what you've got to do. Doing such a good job at the minute, is Martin Lukeman, of keeping the throw in what is a fabulous contest. The best game of the afternoon.
80.
Of that, there was no doubt.
17.
Time on his side here, Lukeman. That's the safest 20 you've ever seen. And it's so safe, it's in the way of the double top.
77.
It's almost as if he wanted to have a go at treble 19. Let's see if it works out next time. Because he's got pressure coming. Nothing from Wattimena. Everything from Lukeman. 5-4. Great game.
It is a good game, but there's a couple of things there which are real kicks in the teeth for Jermaine Wattimena. Not only that visit of 5
83.
and then Lukeman following up with a 180, but to hit a 180 of his own late on, only to see Lukeman take the double first dart. Wattimena's done some good stuff in that leg,
99.
but his good stuff has gone unrewarded and his bad stuff got punished in the worst way.
97.
He's thinking right now, can I get rid of 402 and 9?
93.
Well, still possible, but it's a big ask.
Oh, it's good. It's so smooth, Wattimena.
That change that he's made to the rhythm, he's already got my attention. I'm going to be eagle-eyeing him for the next 6 months to see if he can embed that.
When you go 141.
He's on the 141 after the max. It's just a question of whether he actually gets a look at what he's leaving now, because Lukeman masterfully 139 to leave this, and he could use it. Oh, it could have been, it's full effect, you know, that would have been some climax.
56.
Smashes his fist into his hand. That's only just in the 16. Double 10. Wattimena pins it. We'll go in the distance. Great contest. The best game of the afternoon so far here on stage 2. Martin Lukeman has the throw in a last leg decider. He's still averaging 102 to Wattimena's 98.
60.
This is what round 3 is going to be like for the next 3 matches after this. Sign me up.
100.
We've got a small matter of Simon Whitlock against Mike Kivenhoven after this.
177.
Visits like that, in moments like this, in games like this, they're just so good. Wattimena at times, who maybe has been criticised in the past of being too animated and getting rid of his energy too soon, has kept it reserved brilliantly in this match. But can he finish the job?
58. Martin 160.
At least 2 visits from here for Martin Lukeman to win and put himself in the hat for the 4th round tonight. Could he win it on the bull? He went for it. He shouldn't have gone for it. And now he's thinking, I've just made the task a little bit harder.
34.
Well, at least he had a small number, which means he's still got options of whatever he wants to leave, but it's double 16 to be in the hat. He's in the hat! What a great game of darts that was. And Jermaine Wattimena salutes what is a brilliant 11-leg contest. That is proof that Martin Lukeman at the start of 2024 is playing proper darts, and he might just be an awful draw for anybody a little bit later on tonight. And if he's playing that well, I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing best of 19 darts on this stage a little bit later. But it's going to be the former European champion and World Cup star and World Cup winner in Simon Whitlock taking on Mike Kivenhoven next.